Alright guys, so with Halloween and subsequently Leprechaun doing this whole thing of let's wipe away all the continuity except the first movie, and horror movies getting, retooled, I kind of thought, because obviously one day we're going to get another Friday the 13th movie. We're obviously going to get that in some capacity. Um, so here's my thought of how I would do a Friday the 13th movie. What I would do if I could make my own Friday the 13th movie, and what kind of continuity would I do? So first and foremost, I would do everything in continuity would be parts 1 through 6. Everything would be in continuity there. But 7 and onward, all the Jason movies after that, I would take out of continuity. And keep in mind, I kind of like New Blood and Freddy vs. Jason and Jason X. Not you can tell what two movies I don't like. Um, but I decided for argument's sake that this goes up to the first 6 movies. So my idea is that after the events of Jason Lives, in this new continuity, after Jason Lives, a few months after Tommy had drowned Jason, Jason kind of went into like a catatonic state, essentially. His body was still alive, but his mind had kind of shut off. Like, he had just kind of gone into like I said, a comatose state. And his body was found by a group of divers who were just kind of like having fun in the lake, and Jason's body was taken back up, and they identify him as Jason Voorhees. But the thing is, like, they can still detect like little bits and pieces of his brain pattern. So yeah, there is a problem there. So they're kind of confused, because no one really believes the idea that Jason is really, Jason was really dead. Like, Jason's undead. Like, no one believes that. They just think that something happened. And they also kind of, like, I also had the idea that that they think that Jason never died, and the person who did die was the one from New Beginning. Like, that was the person who was really dead, and Jason just kind of disappeared. Or was put, and whoever found him, Tommy, obviously tried to drown him, but, miracles of science have kept him alive. So Jason, essentially, is brought to a hospital to be properly buried this time around, to actually see if people can actually, see if he can actually be buried after being identified. Jason wakes up, kills almost everybody in the hospital, until, get this, he gets taken down in the hospital by a SWAT team. He actually gets captured by the SWAT team, who Jason is then convicted of multiple murders, of this hospital attack, and all the murders that occurred, for the past 6 movies. So Jason is now in a Supermax prison. Jason's now been locked up in a Supermax prison, and the thing is that Jason now, you maybe think, well, why didn't Jason just get out of there, ASAP? Well, I was thinking, my thought is, Jason has that connection to to Crystal Lake, and now that he's kind of been torn away from it, his mind kind of is like, what do? I don't hear Mother anymore. I don't hear anything. Like, there's nothing. Like, it's not like in Jason Takes Manhattan, where he's just still going. It's more like he's away from home. He doesn't know what to do. That's the big thing, is that he's like cut off from his home, and now he's back to being a frightened child, because now it's like he got ripped away from his home, and now he's panicking. Like, remember, Jason has the mind of a child, so you take a child away from his home, he's going to be freaked out. So Jason has kind of like been, running on autopilot, essentially. He doesn't know what to do. He's away, he can't hear his mother's voice anymore. He's, no longer at Crystal Lake. So yeah, for all this time, he has been locked up he's been locked up in the Supermax prison until he discovers that Tommy Jarvis has now become one of the prison guards, and his mind flashes back to, wait a minute, that's the motherfucker who drowned me. That's the guy who caused all this. So a light bulb goes off in Jason's head, and now he is going around in this prison killing everyone to find Tommy. So that's kind of my idea, Jason in prison, because that's actually like a neat idea. And I know there was a game that kind of had a level where Jason was in prison, but I just had this fun idea where, just the idea of Jason in a prison, essentially, killing his way through hundreds of staff members, prison inmates and guards, and even the staff itself. God, could you just imagine what kind of shit Jason could do? Like, obviously, Jason would also be in solitary confinement all this time, because, yeah, it's fucking Jason, so of course he's going to be left in solitary. He's going to be, like, left in permanent solitary confinement. And then you may be thinking, why didn't they just try to kill him? Well, they did. They tried electrocuting him, and now they're like, well, shit, he can't die. I guess we'll just keep him locked up. But yeah. So Jason, after discovering Tommy is alive, he throws a shit fit. So the idea of so there are so many ways I thought of, like, how Jason could kill some people in here. Like, obviously with a prison shank, like someone tries to shank him and it does jack all. So Jason rips it out of the guy's hand and jams it through the guy's skull. A few other kills I thought of is, like, Jason bends some prison bars outward, and what he does is grab an inmate or guard and impales them through the head. Another one is, like, he stabs someone through the chest with a shotgun and then fires it by accident and hits another guy through him. And of course, Jason would get his classic machete back. Like, I would imagine the machete would be, like, maybe in evidence or something of that degree, find a new weapon to use, because you can't go. Jason can just kill his way through anyone with just his bare hands. And I would try to get Kane Hodder so bad for this. I know he's pretty old, but he's always willing to do Jason. Of course, he did Jason for. He did the mocap for Jason in the video game. So yeah, I think it's possible that you could get Kane Hodder to play Jason once more. But yeah, so that's pretty much the idea I had for a Friday the 13th movie. Just because I was like, you know what? In theory, mind you, Jason Takes Manhattan is not a bad idea of having Jason outside of his comfort zone. But yeah, it's more like Jason on a boat going to Manhattan for about 5 minutes. That's the movie. But I was thinking, it'd be interesting to have him just out of his element and essentially killing his way through people in a very already hostile environment. Like, that was kind of the idea, is that he's just murdering people left and right in a already hostile environment. So yeah, something of that degree. So you guys tell me in the comments below, what do you guys think? What did you guys think of this story? And if you could make your own Friday the 13th movie, what would you do with it? What kind of story would you want to go with? Would you want to keep Jason in Crystal Lake? Or would you have him, like, outside of his element, like in this? And what kind of, like, scenario would you want to have him in? Just comment below, let me know. I'm really curious to see what you guys have to say about this, and maybe I'll do something like another one of just me kind of imagining a new continuity for certain other slashers. Maybe I'll do that sometime, who knows. But anyway, once again, hope you all enjoyed this, and I will see you guys later.